Hello, my name's Alistair Smeaton. I am a United Reformed Church minister living and working in Cumbria. I'd like to tell you a story that Jesus told, and it comes immediately after the well-known story that we like to call the prodigal son. This story is sometimes known as the unjust steward, and it's a rather odd story, and that's one of the reasons I like it. It starts at the beginning of chapter 16 of Luke's Gospel. Jesus told his disciples there was a rich man whose manager was accused of wasting his possessions. So he called him in and asked him, "What is this I hear about you? Give an account of your management, because you cannot be my manager any longer." The manager said to himself, "What shall I do now? My master is taking away my job. I'm not strong enough to dig, and I'm ashamed to beg. I know what I'll do, so that when I lose my job, people will welcome me into their houses." So he called in each one of his master's debtors. He asked the first, "How much do you owe my master?" 3,000 litres of olive oil, he replied. The manager told him, "Take your invoice here, sit down quickly and make it 1,500. Then he asked the second, "And how much do you owe?" 30 tons of wheat, he said. He told him, "Take your documentation here and change it to make it 24. The master commended the dishonest manager because he had acted shrewdly. For the people of this world are more shrewd in dealing with their own kind than are the people of the light. I tell you, use worldly wealth to gain friends for yourselves, so that when it is gone, you will be welcomed into eternal dwellings." Now, I like this story for a number of reasons, but mostly because it's odd, and it's not obvious how to read it. It's a jarring note after that wonderful story of the prodigal son that we're so familiar with and fond of. I like it because it's not obvious that the most powerful figure in the story is God or like God. Why would God commend such dishonest activity? It's also not obvious that the manager, in his shrewdness, is a clear role model for us. I'm sure Jesus is not recommending that we should go around dealing dishonestly with other people's business. The point is that something in this story is a key to the nature of the kingdom of God. It's an invitation to wrestle with that something and try and work out for ourselves what God might be saying to us through us rereading this story that Jesus told. It's also, I think, a warning against careless interpretations of other parables, where we are too quick to see the strongest, richest, most powerful person as God, and we are too quick to see someone who appears to have good behaviour that we should follow. Instead, we must listen to these stories and talk about them and think about them. I'm reminded that Jesus' earthly ministry was conducted in a Jewish context, where rabbis told and retold the stories of the people of God, constantly discussing and arguing about their interpretation, what God might be saying to us. For in Jesus' time, it was just not good enough to take a story out of the Bible and say, "It means this." You had to say, "Rabbi so-and-so says it means this," and Rabbi somebody else says it means that. And in that to and fro of reading and interpretation, we might find what God was saying. And I think the same is true for us now. As we come out of lockdown in the coming time and work out together anew what it is to be disciples of Jesus and to be this curious thing called the church, we need to take not just the obviously odd stories of Jesus, but all the stories of Jesus, indeed the whole text of the Bible. And we need to talk about how you read it and how I read it, and what God might be saying to us through it.